I am expecting a fantastic matchup. Both of these players are actually top of their game. You know, like, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of love and appreciation for a lot of the Brazilian players, but RenantrL has dedicated a lot of time into this preset, and Superds is just a naturally talented player in general. You know, it's interesting you bring up the countries in this. It's when you see matches like this that you recognize that Symphony of the Night is not just an American game. It's not just a Japanese game. It is a truly international phenomenon.
It's a global event, Eldritch. Very exciting. In fact, I wonder if we got a full count, how many countries have been represented throughout this process. Probably at least a dozen.
Yeah, true. And you know, I only want to see more countries join. Like, I would love to see some of our Australian friends and some of our, you know, Asian countries, you know, I would like to see them join in, you know, get some more European representation from, you know, the other countries. But, you know, until then, I'm happy with who we have. Looks like some pretty good prologues from these two gentlemen.
Now, chat reminding me we do not have a Gamba yet, so there you go. We have the prediction live. Also, first relic here is going to be Tooth Card. Toad. All right, so it's going to be a Frog Seed. Now, while we're here, let me give a couple of shout-outs to people supporting the tournament. Thank you very much, Gamma, for the full half year of support. Thank you very much, Zangetsu, for the 4 months. Hello, Kreslin. Happy 16. Appreciate the Prime. Thank you, Omega, as well, for the 200 bits. All of the bits contributed until the end of the tournament will go directly to the prize pool. So thanks a bunch.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, like, Superds is actually one of the few people in the long library who will actually race adventure with somebody anytime. Like, you know, you call out a race for adventure and Superds is like, I'm sorry, I felt a disturbance in the force.
Yeah, that preset's kind of fallen off, so, shows you, I guess, how much Superds loves SotN. Even willing to play adventure.
There are a few other people who would gladly race adventure, but like trying to align everybody's schedules to schedule that race in particular, it's really difficult.
I wonder how long a typical adventure seed takes nowadays. Hour and a half, 2 hours? More?
It's almost 2 hours, usually. And that's if you get really lucky with your guesses. Like, you know, you have to be not only knowledgeable of like what your density is and where your checks are going to be, but you also have to have really good movement and get good, even better movement early on.
So far, to summarize things to this point, both players had slightly mediocre Richter sections. I say that as an expert in mediocre Richter gameplay, but these Alucard movements have been really nice. Ren in particular, I'm always impressed by his shield dashing, and it's neck and neck.
Yeah, like RenantrL has a controller, and yet he shield dashes like somebody using a keyboard.
That's a great way to put it. Ooh. This would have been a great seed for Vey. Early Cube was the player.
Loved it. I do think that Superds is going to go for the save split on entrance, and it looks like RenantrL will as well.
I think this makes sense. You can just knock out your free save split, because you want to activate a save ASAP for Bat MP. So, while you're here, why not do a check?
I don't think that there are many players who would not actually do this. Like, this is just a smart play in general. I do see both of the players trying to conserve some MP here in case they have to come back. And it's Power of Mist. I'm not gonna lie, I would collect it.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a really borderline one. Both runners opting to skip. Hard to say. You know, Power of Mist is a convenience relic. It's never actually gonna save you time. Well, combined with Gas Cloud, it can. But besides that, it's just a good way to make things a little bit easier, save some MP if your timing is off on your missed bats, etc. I think it's loser's bracket. Tournament's on the line here. I think skipping it's to be expected.
I don't know. I've run into a lot of really bad farms that, you know, you want Power of Mist and Gas Cloud, and when you don't have both, it's painful.
Something to keep an eye on. We'll see if that's relevant here. It very well could be.
Super's going for the lag smash into Leapstone there, and skill of Wolf.
Leapstone, my beloved. What a good relic.
One of the best relics in the game, honestly. Like, it improves your movement on so many different levels once you understand how to use it correctly. There's no getting around how efficient movement can be with it. I mean, to just kind of summarize all of the things you get away with for having Leapstone, you can do dive bats, you can do front slides, you can chain it into gravity boots and get faster gravity boot chains with that. There's a lot of things that are made just infinitely easier.
Speaking of gravity, okay.
Now, my favorite relic.
With early bat, it's worth noting, both Leapstone and Gravity Boots are random relics. So they just happen to be super early into the seed, which is very convenient. This is going to be a great movement seed. Could be in for a zip seed even.
Movement already.
Oh, never mind. I was going to say Superds almost had the dodge of a lifetime on those poison drops.
Yeah, he was really trying to thread a needle there. But that's fine. He's changing zones. The zone change will remove the poison.
Fire shield drop for Superds. Interesting.
Of all of the shields, Jupiter, which is your favorite shield? Masamune.
Well, Masamune is not my favorite shield, but it's pretty good. Pretty good. Superds definitely with the better item luck so far, I'll say that much. It's a tough call. Probably Fire Shield, although... Oh my god, are you kidding me? Holy Glass's Bat Layer 1? Could this seed be any more open?
Seed.
Yeah. Alright, here are my feelings, Zelda. You tell me if you agree. Shield spell, I'm gonna go Fire Shield. But overall, I think I prefer Medusa, because it's got a good spell, which is interesting to use, and it's got that active hitbox when you hold it out.
Medusa Shield is one of the best shields in the game. I'm not going to ever refute that Medusa Shield is probably the best shield in the game. When you consider the fact that A, it has an active hitbox, B, it prevents Alucard from getting turned into stone, C, it actively stones Doppelganger, and D, it has an amazing Shield Rod spell that does damage over time while you slash away at the opponent. It's an amazing shield. But my heart will always go to Fire Shield. Like, I love the damage prevention on Fire Shield. I love the aesthetic look of Fire Shield. And I especially love the shield spell on Fire Shield.
Yeah, it's neat how it's a A Salamander reference. Another Konami franchise. Good shmup series. It's also true for the shield rod itself. Those little projectiles you can shoot out with the shield rod are from Gradius.
That's right.
It's kind of a
Love
shame, you know,
letters
one of
to
the
others.
reasons, when people point to a SotN being potentially the best in the series, I think the shield mechanics are actually a good argument in favor of that. That's a Vorpal for Ren. Huge pickup that farm, paying off very nicely. Yeah, shield mechanics are really deep and very interesting. I've made my thoughts known on shield dashing. I'm not a fan. But in terms of combat and versatility, shields are really good. I wish it made a return in other Castlevanias, to be honest.
I have to agree with you. Shield dashing does not feel the best, especially when that's all you get to do, right? Like if you're stuck in a seed where there is no bat movement, there's no, you know, leap stone, it's all just mist and gravity boots or whatever, you're having a bad time. But I will say that, yeah, I agree on the shield mechanics in combat. Like shields can block things, shields can be used as part of a shield spell, shields can do so many different things. They can cancel a knife animation so that you can use the knife again. It's very good.
Now, Superds had an unfortunate bonk there. Had to wait like 15 seconds to get back to the save point. But more importantly, the divergence. Ren is going up to Fire of Bat next.
Here we go. We see the Masamune being put to use against Olrox. Olrox being the Disc 1 final boss of SotN, not today.
This is really interesting. I think Ren might have stumbled upon Complexity 2 here. We have both rings now.
Honestly, if he discovered that this is Complexity, like if this gives him Mist or Merman Statue, or no, not Merman Statue, but Jewel of Open, I mean, this could be huge. Because keep in mind that every single flight check and the entirety of Second Castle were all open to them. One of these days, I will find out how many checks there are in the game. I only program the presets, I don't count them.
Everyone's got a good read on Castle 2. It's 10. Everyone knows it's 10, at least in standard presets. For Castle 1, who can say? It's always so different seed to seed.
Well, yeah, because like the opening of flight checks in Castle 1 depends on whether or not you have Jewel of Open, whether or not you have this, whether or not you have that. You know, like, do you have a transformation? Does that make Olrox a flight check now? You know, it's so many different things.
I gotta say, I think this tournament in general has been making a strong case for Olrox's delay. Not a full skip, but just delaying until later. It really can be a strong route, as we're seeing Ren is going to be making up a lot of time here, if this is value.
I really loved that upward diagonal wing smash by Superds. He really demonstrates a lot of technical skill with the game, even though you almost never see him in casual style races. He has to be practicing offline.
Okay, what does Maria got? Nothing. A spike breaker, maybe. Nothing. So, scratch that, it was bait. We're still on the hunt for Complexity 2. That could be good for Superds, actually.
lucky,
Well,
but
never
he's not
mind.
that
I think Superds is going to take the bait as well.
It's a common trap to fall into. Like, in a low complexity seed, like their Bounty Hunter, you know, it's only 5. It's an average of 5.5 with some seeds reaching 7. But it's really easy to fall into that trap of, oh, this is complexity, let me go check this, instead of going for density.
Yeah, Superds making the right call here in retrospect. Is going to be getting the top floor stuff as well.
Really low strength roll if you can't kill a harpy in one hit.
Did Superds take damage on the Richter section? That might be part of the problem. Or it could just be bad luck.
I think it's just bad levels, which, you know, that's entirely RNG.
A quote-unquote fun mechanic. Yo, we have the Vandal Sword despawn. Did you notice that? There was an Alucard shield. It just vanished. I've seen that happen before. El, you know a lot about the game's code. Can you explain that?
Well, basically what ends up happening is that whenever you kill a Sword Lord, a lot of explosions spawn all over his body as the armor starts to separate from itself. Each of those explosions is controlled by an entity. Now, entities in Symphony of the Night is anything from each of the Tetraspirit spirits to candles to each of those explosions or each of those ravens, like when Karasamon dies. So an entity is created for every single one of those. So as you start to kill Sword Lords, after you've killed one Sword Lord, you can cause an item or a candle or an enemy to just despawn.
But yeah, like Eldridge was talking about, a quote-unquote fun mechanic in SotN is that the stat rolls you get every level up are slightly random. There's like a range, but it can make a huge difference. What is it, like 1 through 4, 0 through 4 for strength? Something like that? Am I totally misremembering?
It's one of those things where it's like, more often than not, it's going to end up being 0, but you hope that it's never that.
What is the max strength roll you can get per level?
I don't rightly know off the top of my head. I would have to check in either the code or find somebody who knows better than me.
Yeah, it's definitely more just some trivia than anything else, but basically you're hoping to get lucky. And that's especially relevant with MP, not just for randos, but also for speed runs. They can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Anyway, Avarda top floor, so that's going to be good for combat. Honestly, I think this favors Ren, though. Ren will find that Varda, and then has a Vorpal to work with, which is going to be less menuing.
Yeah, because he can actually just equip the Vorpal as his shield cancel or his dash cancel item. It's not as fast as a shield, but it is pretty fast.
So it turns out this has actually been some, it was a fake divergence, Eldritch, because we're going to be going to Castle 2 right around the same time with Castle 1 fully cleared. And it's going to be, I think, probably Jewel of Open next, so we're gonna have to find Jewel in Castle 2 somewhere.
Although I will say, if they end up going through Richter at the exact same time, it does demonstrate a lot of skill on the players, and it shows that, like, sometimes routing isn't as big of a thing as you think.
Oh yeah, this is still a skill game. You know. It's tough, though. I mean, it always feels bad to lose a match because of routing differences. But sometimes you'll get a seed like this one where there ends up being a surprisingly linear route, at least at the start.
Here we're going to see Superds get the absolute bubkiss down here at Holy Glasses. Meanwhile, RenantrL tackles Hippogriff and tries to clear the keep.
Oh, right. Before we go to Castle 2, there is still Fairy card on the table. Might be worth skipping, though. Also nice cutscene skip for Ren.
Very good.
Like I said, it's a skill game. Definitely a skill game. I'm sad that neither runner today is going for quick grab techs, but oh well. That's still a little bit too new school.
I think it's a very niche application, honestly. Like, the difference is maybe a second, if that, if it's executed correctly. And that's something that you really need to practice before you start implementing it into your runs.
If you get it, you save a second. If you miss it, you lose a second, and it's basically frame perfect. So, yeah. It takes a certain kind of player, a certain kind of mentality to go for that.
Yeah. But, you know, like, similarly, we used to say a lot of the same things about the no iframe item silver ring, right? Like, people would be like, oh, well, that's a very niche case when you need to use a spell to get in there. Well, this tournament proves that it's not so niche anymore.
And I think at this point, people have gotten so good at doing that we'll start seeing that on the regular for other presets. Yeah, I'll just go with Summon Spirit here, no big deal. Okay, so save split library card. Ren with the same idea.
This is not a bad idea. You only have one check left in the first castle. Do it. I know that for me, myself, personally, whenever I saw the video, the first time I saw the video that showed, oh, there it is, it's a card. And it's the I card. Cloaked Knight. Something that you can easily farm if you get into second castle. So Superds is going to do the smart thing and save split it away. He has the information in his brain. He doesn't need the card.
It was honestly a genius save split. Worked out perfectly. There was value there, but it's still good to save split away because all you need is the info.
Yeah. But as I was saying, once I learned how to do the spell Silver Ring, I stopped using items as much because taking the time to menu, etc., not worth the time.
I like that from Superds, just the double tetra. Messed up a little bit at the start, so that keeps it safe. God, it's so close, Eld. Look at this. Let's get an exact lead. It's going to be within 15 seconds, I think.
Yeah. The double tetra does cost a lot less. It's like, what, 15 less?
It's kind of funny in hindsight. I don't know why we were ever going for Soul Steal. It's one of those things where it was almost like a conservative mentality where it's like everyone's going for it. Let's just keep going for it. Don't question it. Just go for it. But it turns out that actually Tetra's just way better. So I'm glad people have updated their strats on that. It's always worth going back to double check. Never take strats for granted. And yeah, it's like 15 seconds, Eld. That's it.
Yeah. 15, 16 seconds. These players are remarkable. I would say that all the players involved in the tournament were remarkable, but like you look at some of these later matches and you're like, I wonder if I will ever be as good as them.
Oh! Well, it's a skill game, and it's a just get lucky game. I'm not sure if that was Yorick or Skull, but that is our first random Vlad of the set. Could be huge.
Based off of the timing, I would say it's actually Skull.
Oh my god. What if this is just Yorick? Oh my god! That random drop was pointless.
Oh my god, I thought it was Skull. My bad.
Pointless. Wait, what? No, never mind. Yeah, never mind. No, it's pointless.
Yeah, now Superds has to go back and do the farm while
I take it back. It's not pointless, but yeah, it's not nearly as significant as it could be. Now, what would be really funny is if Skull also had one. I'm surprised Superds isn't going for it, just in case.
I would kill both every time. I would break out Masamune and kill both.
Good call, yeah, I like that.
Here's the Cloaked Knight farm from RenantrL. The best Cloaked Knight farm right here in this second castle. Superds getting the Ring of Vlad. Allows him to catch up a little while RenantrL has a absolutely horrible farm. Just because the strategy of a farm is solved, it doesn't make the farm good.
My god, this is bad.
Holy cow. There it is. Finally, the Eye of Vlad. Does this allow Superds to catch up? Even a little.
Oh, not going for the farm yet. What am I missing here?
Is he actually just going full right side or left side?
Oh, is he gonna do it up top? Ren's farm spot was better, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because these Medusas can get in the way.
The Medusas get in the way. It's not as fast. You're not as close to the knights.
All right, well, still very close, but I think Ren's got a clear lead here. So let's go ahead and switch to Ren's audio.
I do believe that this is one of those situations where not participating in the regular casual races kind of gives you a false sense of where the meta is, because Superds doesn't, like, maybe he knows somewhere in the back of his mind, or maybe if he had time to slow down and think about it, he would know that that other farm is a better farm, but he doesn't have the practical experience.
Yeah, so even with the bad luck for Ren, Super's now bleeding time on this one.
I mean, I wouldn't even go so low as to say bleeding. I would say hemorrhaging. There he goes. Finally, he gets into the, yeah. And I would use a different weapon for sure. Like we were discussing the other day, I don't remember who was in the discussion with me, but we were talking about the difference between, you know, what's the difference of a luck potion or lapis lazuli, and I was like, it's only really a point of difference. It's not going to make as big of a difference as a ring of arcana or making your farm more efficient.
I gotta say, Ren's farm was bad, but Super's is objectively worse.
Yeah.
What's going on with flying armor today? What the heck?
For those who remember from the vanilla game, Heaven's Sword was the rare drop from Cloak Knight, and it had the worst drop rate in the game. Tied for that with Medusa Shield and Talisman.
So now for Super's sake, I'm hoping for a divergence, and it looks like we're gonna get one, which is actually good news.
Yeah.
Keeps things interesting.
If only he can escape.
We call it the worst room in the game for a reason.
I actually recently uploaded a video to the Long Library demonstrating several ways to get through this, and then Fire 1520, one of the top level players, he also uploaded a video of him getting through the same room. Very similar routes. I recommend checking those videos out for anybody trying to get through that room quickly.
Fire has been sorely missed this event. Hopefully in the next one we can get the return. Oh, there's a card at Mummy.
And it's Minotaur.
Ren wins the routing 50-50.
It's directly in his path.
Honestly, that matters a lot more than the farm luck, probably. So now hopefully Creature's got something, for Super's sake.
I don't know. Have there been any matches in this tournament where the win or loss has been a 2-0?
I think we've had a couple. But most of them have been 2-1 to this point. It's been a lot of back and forth sets. It's just a J.
That is the J of justice. I still stand with Superds.
Quick shout out to Dave for the gift sub. Thank you very much, Dave, for the generosity.
All right, here we see Superds taking the long hallway over to the middle of the castle. Probably going to do standard left side route, so he'll go directly up as soon as he's given the opportunity.
And why not go ahead and farm this now if you're Ren?
Minotaur is one of the worst enemies to try to farm. It is not a nightmare farm by any means, but it is one of the worst enemies to deal with in general. Just because of the sake of the fact that they can deal so much damage and they can combo you out.
This is one of the scariest farms in the game, even with Avarda, let alone without one.
There it is, Rib of Vlad for RenantrL. He's going to be moving on.
Yeah, slightly above average. It was a good farm. What is the name of the J item that looks like a pipe fitting with 2 stripes? It's the J. You know what's interesting? It's called Holy Symbol. And I think there's a popular misconception that it's called Snorkel in Japan. I think it's called Holy Symbol in Japan as well. Am I wrong?
Jewel of Open at Trio.
Oh, I'm talking about Snorkel.
Yes. I have no idea what it's called in Japan because I can't read Japanese.
Oh, all right. Let me check the wiki then. But yeah, that's obviously the more important update. Ren is the first one to Jewel, which opens up some routing here.
I do know that there is a ROM hack that translates the Japanese version of SotN into English.
Yeah, I just confirmed it is called Holy Symbol in both, which is pretty funny. It's a little tongue-in-cheek.
I mean, the holy symbol, the snorkel, it's just like how they call the hot dog a Frankenfurter or the corn dog a Frankenfurter. How they call certain things.
I rate the drip here.
Okay. We're talking what? Salmon on goldenrod? It's one of those times where it's close, but it's not close enough. I'm gonna give it a 6.
I think it's about right. It's almost got that ketchup and mustard look. Not quite that bad, but close.
Yeah, like if either one of the colors was a different shade, it would be fine.
Okay, so Ren is opting not to go left side, and so far Superds has found precisely nothing. I think Ren might be stumbling on the perfect second half route here. And look at those shield dashes. Oh my god, it's out of control.
You know, it's hard for me to believe that there actually is a limit on the top end of Vorpal Blade when you look at Ren's dashing with it.
It's that old dinner dog argument that Vorpal's the best weapon in the game. Ren showing why you can make the case. Because Chrysogrim can't do that.
No.
It's a Vorpal exclusive.
Like, you can't even do that with Holbein Dagger, even though some people like to call it the mini Vorpal or the mini Chrysogrim. It can't move as fast as that.
Oh, there is like an upper limit for Holbein?
Yes.
A question from the chat. You notice that people mess up Dark Metamorphosis a lot. Is that a controller thing? Yeah, SotN, no game is perfect. And the way that SotN reads inputs is pretty bad. You have like 0.3 seconds in between each input in a combo. So it's very easy for the game to get confused and misread an input as a combination. That's why, especially on D-pad, accidental inputs happen all the time. So you can try to avoid it, but with how fast SotN is becoming, you gotta just accept it's gonna happen sometimes. And hopefully don't lose too much MP for it.
The input read on SotN is so bad that you could actually enable an analog and then do 2 full circles on analog and end up getting a soul steal out of it. It's wild.
So Superds is going to Galamoth. This is the last chance for Superds straight up. If Galamoth is a bust, it's just over. And I hate to say it, but imagine
Galamoth
left side having 0 cards.
The only chance that Superds has is if Galamoth has missed.
Oh, you think it's got to be missed? Not even a card will do?
He can't have a card. They haven't found complexity yet.
Oh, you're right. My god, it does have to be missed. So it would be like... Actually, would Mist even be enough right here? So it's Bat 1, Jewel 2. It would be Jewel and Mist shared.
Either Jewel and Mist shared, or if it's Mist into Merman.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one. So there are some chances, but the odds are so low here.
Excellent entry. Perfect setup on Galamoth there. Meanwhile, RenantrL stopping to pay attention to some fish heads. You know, I have to disagree with the constant need to farm random enemies that have nothing to do with anything. If it wasn't for the fact that RenantrL wins more of these races than almost everyone else, and not by sheer amount of participation, I would think that he was out of his mind farming random enemies.
Oh, well, there's Merman. Is that just a wrap for Superds now?
It is. It's over.
Brutal.
Because there's no other, like, unless Spike Breaker is behind Galamoth.
It's wolf stuff. That's a tough break. So yeah, Ren definitely had, oh, there we go, by the way. The random SotN can't read inputs, Dark Metamorphosis. But, yeah, Ren had the better luck. Didn't matter. This one was all about routing. A huge decisive advantage to right side. And it's just over now. I will say, though, Ren making a very smart call to go back to Castle 1. And I think one of the reasons for this is that Toad is a farm. So you know that at least one's going to be here. Why not go for the other one, too?
Yeah. Where is he doing a save split?
I think chasing Complexity, right?
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because he got Merman statue. There's the Toad tooth, randomly grabbed on his way back. Or was it calculated? The world may never know.
If you're Ren, you could go down and do Echo first. But if this is missed here, it's going to be worth doing. So I think this is the right call.
Yeah, this is a 50-50 right here. You either go to Echo or not Echo. You either go to Spike Breaker and hope that the chain leads there, or you do this. And since he's closer to this, do this.
Right, excuse me, Spike Breaker. So once again, slightly above average for Ren. The best farm so far was actually that Yorick farm.
Yes. And now we see Superds taking off over to the left. He's going to end up finding the card that he should have found a long time ago.
And it's missed. Another good call from Ren. See, and now you can just skip the bottom of Caverns. Do these two. It's over.
Honestly,
Ren has found a really good route. I've been impressed.
This is something that we were talking about the other day as well, where you can count your complexity all day, right? And it is kind of one of those things that you kind of want to keep in the back of your brain. But at the end of the day, just kind of operating on instinct, after you've done so many of these, instinct will take you in the right direction more often than it won't. It's
true. And it's also why I think it's really important not to second guess your game plan. Once you have a game plan, for a particular set or a particular matchup, you want to just stick with it. Because if you change it on the fly, you're prone to make mistakes.
Oh, Spirit Orb here, which means we are headed for Silver Ring.
Alright, now it is still possible for Superds. Here's the win condition. This has happened to Ren before. 30-minute Guardian farm for Heart.
You're not wrong. I will stop you when you're wrong.
I certainly hope it's not the case, because so far the bracket has been blessed not to have a really, really bad farm. We've had a couple of nightmare farms, but nothing pivotal and nothing like even 10 plus minutes, but those have happened.
I mean, we have had pivotal farms, but it wasn't pivotal in such a way where you had a player who was literally coursing through the castle while the other player is stuck in one spot.
Exactly. It wasn't like a nightmare farm switched the winner. I mean, we've had good farms and bad farms make a difference for sure, but it's not like someone lost a 5-minute lead to a farm. Not yet. I'm actually curious if we went back through all the tournament sets, combed through them, what the most significant farm has been to this point. Probably I'm gonna guess like 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, the farm at the end of the first 2 between Mateus and was it Deirdre? I believe. With that blue Venus weed just dropping it for Mateus on the first try.
God, it was such a great match. But even that one was like 2 minutes, despite being very dramatic.
Yeah.
Actually, that one wasn't 2 minutes. That one was really close, wasn't it?
It was pretty close. Deirdre had about a 1.5 minute lead on Mateus at the time, and he just happened to get up there and waste a lot of time while Mateus caught up to him and then passed him.
So I'm curious now what this final farm is gonna be.
Trying to count complexity, I'm looking at, like, you know, you had Jewel of Open. Mist was locked behind Merman Statue, which was behind Jewel of Open. Is this 6 or 7?
I think this is 5.
Armor Lord. Not Guardians, but purple.
And easy to farm, so it's a total wrap now. Not even a miracle. There's 0 win conditions now. But yeah, it's Bat 1, Jewel 2, Merman 3, Mist 4, and
Yep,
card 5.
and it's
so.
perfect 5.
Definitely an interesting seed. Probably a pretty fun one to play. Just one of these seeds where you had to get lucky on the routing to win.
Which, you know, fun to play should be the goal of every preset.
True. Now, question is, where would you farm this? Coliseum, surely.
Coliseum. Like, there is an Armor Lord in the outer wall, but you have to reset the entire zone to get him back. There's not a lot of other places where Armor Lord hangs out. If it were me, I would farm it in Shield Rod. There's 2 Armor Lords in close concentration right next to each other. You can wing smash through and kill them both very quickly. And you have to come out the same way that you went in, which means that you don't miss the relic. Weacock bringing up the fact that you can get shot there, and what, you know what I say to that? You can't have anything in Detroit.
Look, just don't get hit. It's easy. Just don't get hit.
True.
The wing smash approach is a good way to not get hit. Just be invincible.
Just be faster than the bullets.
I can't believe a single wing smash, even with a Varda, is enough to kill an Armor Lord, though. And there it is.
Ta-da!
Overall, a very impressive game number 1 for Ren. Excellent execution, good luck, great routing. A deserved win. You gotta feel bad for Superds, though, because Superds also played really well. If they had found the same route, I think this would have been within a couple of minutes, but
Yeah.
instead it's a blowout.
I always find blowouts to be kind of the worst way to end a match. You never want to lose in a blowout, and winning in a blowout feels lackluster.
I will say, considering how well both of these players are playing tonight, I think Game 2 will probably be pretty close. Well, who knows? Maybe it'll be a blowout in the other direction.
I certainly hope so. Superds is an old friend, somebody who I've raced with many times, and I hope that he gets to give a good showing here.
Oh yeah. I mean, Superds is one of the top seeds for a reason. He's been playing well throughout the process. So, Eld, what's going on with you lately? What have you been up to?
Not a whole lot. In a recent bout of inspiration, I started working with Mott on another preset, so I'm kind of excited to, you know, keep working on that. And
Is that
see
under
what happens with
wraps?
it. Depends on what you mean by under wraps. I can disclose certain things about it.
Well, please, the floor is yours.
The new preset will be based off of the idea of the magic mirror from A Link to the Past, where you are transported to another world at a command, and you have to use that as part of routing, and we will be changing various sections of the castles to match that routing, or to incorporate that. So
I remember when you introduced Aperture, that was like the hot preset for a while. It sounds like this might be even more popular. So, excited to see what you got cooking up for that. Wait, did Ren not get the middle warp?
I guess not. He went in to check and see if he could get there. I guess he missed it.
Well, Ren didn't quite have the perfect route. One small mistake and what's been basically a perfect run.
Yep. No, the amount of rights that we're dedicating to changing the castle in this new preset far exceeds the amount of rights that we put into Aperture to change that one.
What is the rights?
Basically, as part of any preset file, there is a series. You can add a series of what we call rights. Those are places where we're just literally injecting code through the randomizer into the ROM. So whenever the randomizer does its thing, you know, it randomizes the relics and everything, it technically does a ROM hack, right? Like, it's technically hacking the ROM to have randomized relic placement and all of that. It also has the capacity to add additional rights that you simply put in the code and it puts it into the CD-ROM for you. Well, same thing. Only we're doing a lot of these. The biggest one that we did so far was technically Boss Rush. Boss Rush had the most amount of, straight rights, but this one will probably break Aperture as far as the number of rights.
I see. Well, thank you for the explanation. Really cool to learn more about how everything works under the hood. And Ren has made it.
He did the thing, and he's going to fight the easiest boss in Symphony of the Night.
Hey, they're not that easy.
Well, I'll say that Shaft is not the easiest boss in Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, honestly, kind of reminds me of the old Saturn speedrun route where we would go in unarmed. Shaft is actually like the most difficult boss in the game without a weapon, because of those orbs. But if you have a Vorpal, let alone a Varda, totally different story.
Like, we ended up having a boss rush seed where our weapon was Stone Sword. And fighting Richter without a weapon, actually very easy. Fighting Shaft without a weapon, ridiculous.
Yeah, even if you're fighting Richter the normal way without the orb, you can just do the loop, kind of like doppelgangers, so...
Mm-hmm.
Shoutouts to Shaft, putting up a good challenge without a weapon. And all that talk, and he's dead in 2 seconds.
Scylla left the chat. Scylla is not a hard boss.
I will say Scylla's another boss where if you come in without a weapon, you can get comboed pretty easily.
I always enter Scylla boss fights holding up for a Tetra Spirit.
Yeah, everyone getting a little bit better at their spell inputs has definitely made Scylla easier than it used to be. All right, that was a quick one. That's game number 1 going to Ren. Excellent stuff. And thank you, chat. You're right. Once again, no Gamba. What's the point of SotN without Gamba? Let me correct this. Get a game number 2 prediction going here. Also, hang on 1 second. More bits for the prize pool. Thank you so much, Phantom, for the crazy generous 1,000 bits. Really appreciate the $10. We are approaching $4,000. Excited to see how close we get by the end of it.
Gosh, the number of things that I could do with $4,000.
And if you get top 4, it's a big cut no matter what. Like, even getting 4th place is going to end up being pretty lucrative, so definitely some stakes here, some real-world stakes.
Gold ring is our first progression item. Or is it just confidence? We'll see.
All these level ups.
These are generous. And it's Jewel of Open. Now, will this be the pinnacle of safe technology? Will we find Merman at Vanilla? Or will this be something along the lines of you find Leapstone down at Scylla?
Definitely an interesting
or is it
one.
The worst case scenario. Next progression is at Leapstone. You know, Jupiter, you asked me while we were on the break, which was my favorite Pokemon, and I told you my favorite Pokemon is Steelix. What is yours?
Oh, my favorite Pokemon. For the record, I think Steelix is a great choice. I'm going to represent Gen 5 with Galvantula. He's a fast little guy, he's electric, and electric Pokemon are cool. He's useful competitively, he's got some cool abilities. He's got a really accurate thunder. Galvantula is better than Pikachu in every way. Make Galvantula the mascot.
You know, you might lose some people who are arachnophobes on that, but you have me behind you 100%.
It's true. He's such a cute little spider. It's fine. I would take a Galvantula plushie, which I think is the opposite of arachnophobia.
Indeed.
You cuddle up instead. Yeah, Joltik might be another good one for a plushie candidate. Anyway, back to the match. Let's see what Ren finds here. And this is interesting. Superds is trying to shake things up with an early top floor with only Jewel. This is not a bad call, but this route, I've talked about it before, very awkward.
It depends on your level of experience and your capability at execution. Looks like he gets the double bridge, which is excellent. Very nice. Does he know the strat to make the blue Medusa heads spawn more often? Or at least going the direction he needs?
Insane for Superds.
Perfect execution. Perfect.
But yeah, Elle, tell us more. What is that strat to increase your odds?
If you want the Medusa heads to come from the correct direction, which is actually incredibly hard if you don't actually understand how to do it. You need to be standing at the very top of the stairs, but not on the top step. You need to be like one or 1.5 steps down, and you need to be facing towards the right when you jump. Jump full jumps, and you should get Medusa heads at the correct level. Then all it is waiting for a blue one. I actually had to sit there and watch Razio try to do it in order to be able to figure out exactly what he was doing that nobody else was.
So let's take a look here. How much slower is Ren's route even gonna be? You can see some vanilla chapel here. This room is honestly pretty tough and you're going upwards.
Yeah, these are very unforgiving enemies going upwards. I find it interesting that both of our players decided to go up instead of down.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Ren didn't want to skip out on cube, but I really feel like going down would have been better. Either you go for the Superds route or you just go down.
Well, I mean, Superds definitely had the 500 IQ play, right? He knew that his opponent was very likely going to go down because down has a 60% chance, 66% chance of working versus 33. So odds were in his favor, except for that Ren did the 350 IQ play of going through Vanilla Chapel.
Let's see.
Well, I won't say 350 because he did get Cube of Zoe on that route.
Okay, yep. Good call for Superds. Switching game audio immediately. I think we know who's ahead now.
Yeah. Yeah, that was probably the best move right there, Superds. Just go ahead and wing smash. And holy
oh, this looks familiar. Are you? What is this? What is this? Is Jewel bait? This is so bad. Okay.
Jewel was absolutely not bait, but I am here for whatever this is.
Oh no, you're right. I'm sorry. It's not layer 1. It's Jewel 1, Bat 2, Holy Glasses 3. That's where we're at.
And then Leapstone.
It's convenient. Do you go to Castle 2? I don't think so. Still
Not
no
yet.
great weapon.
No, I would delay Castle 2 until I either got a better weapon or until I got Varda.
Plus, yes,
Or until
zero
I gained some
cards.
levels. Yeah.
What an insane keep that was.
And now Superds gets to go through the same route that Ren went through, except for Superds gets to check the Alchemy Lab checks. And then gets to take it to the center. I can't say that I disagree with RenantrL's route, though. Going for the Cube of Zoe, and especially if you're not confident in the Clock Tower route, you definitely want to go with something that you're more confident with, even if it is a bit of a gamba. But, oh, and a Masamune drop for Superds. Combat is solved.
Again. Back to back.
This is the kind of Superds gameplay I expected in Game 1. He just needed a bit of a warm-up.
Now, Ren isn't too far behind. Does make it up, but there might be temptation to skip Alchemy Lab, in which case it might be important to see what Superds finds at Slugger Gaibon.
Yeah. Skill of Wolf, not a strong pickup when you start with Bat. I could think of very few situations where Skill of Wolf is actually optimal. Now this is interesting. The save here, and is he going second castle?
We might be seeing Leapstone then second castle. That would be interesting. Your game up. You're maybe not happy with how your routes worked out at the start here. That could be an interesting play. And there's nothing in the lab.
Yeah, if he skips Alchemy Lab, it's 100% gold.
Okay, not gonna happen. I guess a little bit too bold. Oh, wait a minute, wait. Hang on. Yo, here we go. Oh, it's a spicy one. Not the kind of divergence I was expecting here.
It is quickly becoming a Trinidad Scorpion for this race.
I don't even know what that means.
Trinidad Scorpion is the 3rd hottest pepper in the world.
Oh. Hey, you know what's interesting about peppers? From my understanding, and it sounds like you know more than I do, so you can correct me if I'm providing chili pepper misinfo. They're not actually hot, right? There's a chemical in the peppers that tricks the brain into thinking your mouth's on fire, and it's done as a deterrent so that we don't eat them. But we eat them anyway.
You're absolutely correct. The chemical within peppers, it is bred to be hotter and hotter by a lot of pepper farmers. It's called capsaicin. It is a neurotoxin, and it is designed to make your mouth feel like it's being damaged when it's not.
Now, why is that? What kind of animal does the chili pepper, quote unquote, want to be eaten by?
I mean, I would assume none of them, but birds typically don't really care about the capsaicin content. Other animals kind of do. You know, like, it just depends on the animal and how much their taste buds work.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of times, part of the evolutionary strategy is to get eaten, and that's a way to spread seeds around. See, I think it probably is birds are the priority. I think I've read that before, but human beings are, we are persistent. Another great example, you know, we have bitter taste to detect when food is stale or old, or also when it's poison. And yet,
Yes.
a lot of human beings, myself included, have developed a taste for bitter things. I'm drinking some black coffee right now. Funny how that works.
Funny little brain hack that a lot of people don't understand. Cocoa, we're talking about cocoa, I mean chocolate, is actually a very bitter fruit. We use a lot of sugars and milks and butters to make it sweeter. I'm actually really enjoying this route that Superds has broken out on us. He's getting a card for his trouble by going to Colosseum. Meanwhile, RenantrL is having to go into Second Castle with not a lot of great combat. Alucard's sword will carry you very far if you know how to use it correctly. But this Masamune is going to do wonders once Superds hits the Second Castle.
It really is going to be a big time save. So we'll see. Dying is not a big time save, though. Oh my god. Oh my god, he's dead. Oh my god. Just, Superds, take the time loss. Put on the Masamune. Oh, this is not good.
Yeah,
He's dead. Oh my god. Alright. Thank you.
Jesus. Honestly, he should have done that at the very beginning. As fast as Alucard can be, equipping the Masamune would have been much faster. You would have taken one swing at Werewolf, maybe 2 swings at Minotaur.
And I gotta say, it's a mistake not grabbing that life max up. You can die here to these
that could save some time as well.
hunter girls. So where's Skeleton? And then in the meantime, while Superds was almost dying, Ren found a card at Medusa, which is Plate Lord.
That may serve to give RenantrL some benefit.
Oh my god!
Because what is with these gentlemen and trying to die? Although I will say I am still on team as long as your life isn't 0.
Oh my god! Was that calculated? Ren dropped the wing smash and has 1 HP.
The only important hit point is the last one.
Yeah, good soul steal. It's a heads up play. Oh my god.
I'm using Fist Ice Brand. Okay, we're using Ice Brand. We're doing well now. Ice Brand, secretly one of the goated weapons of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is a fine play. Definitely more time lost, but Ren's gonna go around to heal up first. Whew. All right, so creature,
I think
please.
that doing this is essential. I think that this is an essential save.
I think Ren deserves something good. Well, messes up the creature fight. Probably because he went in from the right side, which is a little bit weird.
Yeah, it's always awkward because, like, the creature only has one pattern, right? It's, I'm going to hit you with my hammer if you're close. I'm going to roll at you if you're far away.
Mm-hmm. And the hammer hitbox is actually shorter range than it looks, so you can get him pretty close.
It's shorter range than it looks, and it's only active as he's swinging it or immediately after.
Well, despite the near-death experience, Ren, for his trouble, has gotten a card and missed.
The mist could come into play.
That is
Gravity
layer
boots will
4 right
help
now.
Superds move faster. Mist will help Ren move at all.
On the flip side, Superds has gotten a card and gravity boots. Wow. This is a bona fide divergence. Unclear who's getting more valuable stuff. But I think Ren's going back to Castle 1, so...
I think it's a smart play.
Mm-hmm.
There's Power of Mist at sword card, or Zorlo's Quarters.
Zorlo's Quarters is what happens when you get the good ending. It goes back to its rightful owner.
I had to sit there and think, like, why is Superds just standing there? And then I looked at his MP bar, and I realized he had nothing. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, one too many wing smashes, maybe. Not a huge deal, though. I think both runners are just glad to be alive, you know? It's kind of amazing neither of them died.
Cristo Amago mentioning me in the chat. Yes, it is absolutely true. Whenever you spawn the relic in Bounty Hunter and other preset where we use this code, the relic will spawn on Alucard's top half. If Alucard is transformed, it spawns above him because he has no top half. I mean, I could have, in testing, asked Mott why we didn't spawn it on Alucard's legs, but it doesn't seem very fitting.
In a way, it kind of helps, actually, keep things a little more interesting. It's nice that, and we've seen this happen in tournament, actually. If you're not paying attention while you're wing smashing, you can just overlook a Vlad drop. It's kind of cool. Yep. Not intended, but it works out, I think.
Here we go, Silver Ring by RenantrL, Succubus by Superds. Ooh, ooh. Not like this, not like this. Okay.
Okay,
Not bad. Could have been worse. And it was a library card all along.
So that's fine. From here, we can go right to the other missed check and see if creature was just bait or if it's actually relevance. Close one. Another close one. Flirting with death here.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the true progression is the library cards we found along the way. Wait, I think I got that wrong.
Hey, for the record, both seeds today, Succubus has had nothing. I'm just saying.
It's making a case for skipping Succubus.
I'm trying to bring this back, but Succubus has been such a valuable check the past couple of weeks. I think it's dead. Maybe next year.
I can think of maybe 2 seeds where I got away with Succubus skip.
All right, big moment here. If
Even
this is nothing, I think
disappointment.
Superds has a firm lead. If this is something, maybe a slight lead for Ren, so we'll see.
Superds finds Cube of Zoe.
Oof.
And it's
Creature
powerful.
with the fake progression.
Creature believers in shambles.
So that means we're looking at either Ring or Merman statue, or Echo. I don't think we've seen Echo. For complexity 4.
You know, my fear is that Superds is going to do all of this checking around everything, and then he is going to go left side, and he's going to find Mist, and he's going to do the exact same thing that RenantrL just did.
Well, to be fair, if Superds does find, for example, a card at Spikebreaker, maybe he can reason his way out of doing those checks, because it's like just going to be random at that point. It'll depend on how things shape up, but maybe. There's at least a chance that Superds is able to skip them. Poor Ren was not fortunate enough, so it's a tough break.
RenantrL having to manually go back. Reverse library card is one of those functions that when it's not there, you definitely miss it.
Yeah. And I guess, is Ren just committing to the route, not even going to go down the caverns?
He must be. Which, you know, I'm looking at what Superds is doing here, and I'm not seeing much reason to go down there.
Ooh, Varda at Fire of Bat. I think our flirtations with death are over now, at least for Ren.
Oh, here it is. Heart card, Zorlo hanging out at the entrance. What does he want us to hunt? Ghosts. It's time for us to be Ghostbusters.
Easy farm, Castle 1 farm.
On a respawning enemy at that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Ren is debating what to do here. A little hesitation, maybe. Not happy with that Castle 2 gambit.
On the other hand, Ren does have an entire game to play with. Maybe he's practicing some experimental strats.
You know, this is a fine decision. You know, you press your advantage, try something different. We've seen early Castle 2 gambit work out. It can be just a decisive route if you get a little lucky, but so far not looking like this was it. One idea might have been to honestly just fully commit to Castle 2, you know? Going back with a low confidence counts might have been the issue rather than going to Castle 2, you know?
Right. Unfortunate for RenantrL that he decided to go ahead and check Alchemy Lab. I understand why, but it is kind of burning his time. Ring of Arcana, demon card. Whew. Superds now has access to much lower drop, or much higher drop rates, I should say. Beautiful dive kick off of the Spittlebone, though. grabbing the important teleporter there, right at the demon card, so that he can come back down here if he needs to.
Thank you very much, Giggles, for the 15 months of support. Glad you're enjoying the match. Thank you for the 15 months. Oh, I already said that. Thank you for the 15 months. Thank you for the 15 months. Thank you. All right, back to the match here. It's getting late for me. Apologies. Interesting. Superds is going to Grand Falloon.
He's a filthy Grand Falloon checker, I tell you.
Oh, hey, whoa! Vorpal.
Wait, what?
Man,
What?
that is so weird. So Superds gets a Masamune
Another
2 games in a
one?
row. And Ren gets a Vorpal 2 games in a row. And now you can double up if you're Ren. For just the insane combat.
I do believe that this puts Ren ahead on combat.
Yeah.
I can say that Masamune can fight one Vorpal blade on its own, but it cannot fight two.
Actually, an interesting question. If you had to pick one, and you didn't know the context, so you have limited info, would you take Masamune or Vorpal? One Vorpal.
If I had no Symphony of the Night context to go around it.
And I'd say, let's also say you have a shield.
Well, what I'm saying is like, okay, if I didn't understand what a Vorpal was and I didn't understand what the Masamune was.
No, I guess I should rephrase. You don't have any knowledge about the seed.
Oh, without knowing the seed or my position within the seed, which would I take, Masamune or Vorpal?
Yeah.
I would still take Vorpal.
I think I'm with you. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love Masamune. Masamune is my second favorite weapon in this game. But a Vorpal blade is a Vorpal blade.
So let's see now. If this is not here, we're gonna have to wait for Merman or Rings in Castle 2.
Here's the Werepanther farm. This is actually a very good farm.
Wow.
And it's Spirit Orb.
You know what that means? Ren had the right route. He just didn't commit to it.
You mean he should have gone right side?
Or just stuck with Castle 2. From that situation, you could read that Mist only had a 1 in 3 chance of being progression. I think you needed at least one more of those items in your inventory before coming back.
It has often been quoted that you want to either A, have all of them, or B, you want to have, like, most of them in your inventory when you come back. It's really difficult for me to say that that's an optimal strategy. I kind of understand where Ren is, because if you come back and that's actually progression, then you're ahead. But
I just feel like you've taken a big gamble. Well, not a big gamble, I think it's a reasonable gamble, but you've taken a major gamble, let's put it like that. Going to Castle 2 early. Why then compound your vulnerability by going for a 1 in 3? At least wait until a 2 in 3, you know? But, yeah. Hindsight's 20/20, all that.
I'm not sure I agree with this placement of this farm. There are better places to farm Were Skeleton, I feel.
In any case, Superds once again getting kind of unlucky here. And it's true, that is our first Vlad for Ren in the first 30 minutes. It's been slow.
This is an incredibly, what's the word I'm looking for? Unforgiving seed. Like, it gave them bat at first, and you thought that it was okay. It made you feel safe, and then all of a sudden it's like, then I'm taking everything away. I remember there was a debate. Somebody tried to say that the Vorpal blade was just as good as the Chrysogrim if you can mash fast enough. Interestingly enough, it is not.
You told me Tass disagrees.
Tass would disagree. I disagree because I can mash faster than the Vorpal blade can swing.
Oh, really? You must have pretty good mashing skills then, huh?
When
What's
it's
your
one
technique?
button, I am incredibly good at mashing. I am not good at mashing on the D-pad, otherwise my 80% would be better. Lunix asking, you can mash Chrysogrim at the same speed you can spam Vorpal. No, that is not actually true.
Tell us more. Give us the lowdown.
Like the Chrysogrim, I think swings at about anywhere between a quarter or a quarter to a fifth of the speed of the Vorpal blade, but the Vorpal blade still has a maximum swing speed that is just above Alucard. So, like, you know, while you can still mash the Vorpal blade faster than you can swing just about any other sword in sequence, it is much faster to use the Chrysogrim or two Chrysogrims than it is to use a Vorpal or two Vorpals to kill a boss.
Everybody taking notes? It's good info here.
I mean, if we're going to take notes, we can talk about the fire shield versus Masamune versus Dracula, but nobody wants those notes.
Well, Fire Shield's better, right? Despite the fact that Dracula resists.
Fire shield is the same. Including time that it takes to actually use a mana prism in the middle of the fight and restore your MP so that you can continue to use the Fire Shield's shield spell. Fire Shield will actually match Masamune for speed in taking down Dracula. Very
interesting. Yeah, that does not surprise me. I was thinking maybe even Fire Shield might be faster. Excuse me. Losing my voice here. But, you're about to say, that sounds right. And Masamune is incredibly good, so... Imagine there was an ice equivalent. Yeah, that would have been fun. Some kind of an ice shield for this game. Maybe in SotN 2.
When I played the game casually, right? You know, keep in mind I played the game casually since it came out. When I played the game casual, when I found Marsil, I was like, "Oh God, is there another sword like this for ice?" Because honestly, as much of a fan of Marsil as I am, I love Marsil. It's my favorite weapon in the game. I would have loved to have an ice version more.
Yeah, both ice and electric lack those upgrades.
Yeah.
It's just Marsil. Ice is a, no pun intended, cool element. And I will say it's kind of nice that, you know, Ritual of the Night, for whatever reason in that game, ice is actually the top tier element. So all the very best weapons are ice, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
In this game, the top tiers don't really have an element. Like, what element would you say Chrysogrim is? Wind elements? What element is the Alucard shield? You know?
If I had to pick an element?
Well, I think they're both considered like strike, but it doesn't really matter. You're just winning regardless. The victory element? Like, yeah, I like that. Good call, chat.
The Alucard shield could deal dark damage and it would still be a better...
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yakakurt, Holy Sword or Ice Brand? I mean, Holy Sword is strong, Ice Brand is strong. Both of them do normal damage against Dracula. Unarmed should be Alucard element.
Question from Zangetsu, what's my coffee of choice? I drink coffee black. No reason to compromise on the flavor. What about you, Eld? How do you take your coffee or your caffeine if you're more of a tea drinker?
I actually absolutely abhor tea, and I am a terrible coffee drinker. My dad would drink coffee black all the time, like 100% black. The darker, the better. If he could make coffee bean soup, that's what he made. Myself and I cannot stand the taste of coffee, so I drink the Starbucks mocha frappuccinos, and that's only as a casual drink, not as a habit.
You mean the coffee ice cream, the coffee milkshake?
Yes.
Oh, here you go, by the way. Is Superds gonna get baited? You predicted this, Eld. Let's see.
Does he go back?
Oh, everybody's getting baited. So with that, Ren's fine. This is now a close game again.
Yes. Especially because Superds is not using any sort of movement to get down here. No matter what anybody says, normal backdashing, even with proper pacing, is nowhere near as fast as shield dashing or Vorpal dashing.
It's a huge difference, yeah.
Like, they're all faster than walking. I will give you that. But then, like, trying to compare the two.
Even the difference between good shield dashing versus mediocre or bad shield dashing can be pretty massive. It really adds up over the course of a run. It's one of those things, much like menuing, where it can be easy to overlook how much time you're losing or saving, but it really does matter.
Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, I would like to see frame perfect backdashing versus frame perfect shield dashing, or even good shield dashing. I think that would be a race that would be very interesting. But you also have to keep in mind the deceleration that happens over the course of the backdash, as opposed to the shield dashing, which doesn't decelerate as much. If at all, depending on how well.
Something I've considered doing for SotN, it's not necessary because shield dashing is so much better, but if shield dashing was removed from like PC SotN, fingers crossed it could happen. But yeah, busting out the metronome could be a good idea, actually. Like, I'm not sure what the ideal beat per minute is for the SotN backdash, but that'd be a good way to practice. Oh, nice glitch here for Superds.
The old reverse library card glitch.
This is all completely fine, don't worry about it. Honestly, it's kind of a vibe. This is a cool, creepy library, yeah? Okay, this room doesn't look very good.
No.
This is the ROM hack room.
Yeah. RenantrL standing in place.
That was a long think. Really not happy with his route. I mean, he's fine, but I can understand from his perspective not being happy with how things have gone here in game number 2.
I mean, we are here at minute number 40, and he only has one Vlad and 2 enemies to farm to show for it.
And it's gotta especially hurt for Ren, because while Superds has done a standard route, and it's just been a bad seed, Ren made the right call, but compromised. So, I wouldn't be surprised if by the time these seeds converge, runners are about, I don't know about even, but pretty close together actually, maybe closer than it looks within a couple minutes.
I just, I have to wonder, like, where where is Superds going? Does he not have a library card left, or is he saving it for later in case he has to come back?
What do you think about saving? I think it's probably a decent call.
Vividly, the reason why the library was messed up is because whenever the call is made to do the reverse library card function, it manually sets the tile set being used so that the reverse library shows correctly whenever the player arrives there. Now, sometimes whenever we exit that and we come back to the normal long library, the normal long library doesn't reset the tiles, and so we end up getting something along the lines of what we saw in there. It's just a visual glitch, honestly. Interesting fact that we just found out while we were making this new preset, though. All of the room numbers, the way that the rooms are indexed in SotN's memory, are the exact same between the first and the second castle. So the keep is always the same room number, the outer wall is always the same room number. They just changed the castle identifier. And there's a Chrysogrim drop for RenantrL.
Now, this is just the optimal build of the gods here. This is better than Alucard Shield. I mean, you have Vorpal for movement and combat, you have Chrysogrim for combat, there's a second one. I think double Chrysogrim is bad compared to Chrysogrim Vorpal. This is better than Alucard Shield. You can just spam, and you don't have to worry about the shield animation. Just so good. Everything's gonna melt.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. 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 If Superds messes this up, it's over. GG.
That's it.
When was Superds' last save, I wonder?
I believe he saved before coming back to First Castle. I
That
want
is
to say that
positively brutal. Okay, it says Castle Keep. Hang on. Oh, wait, was this a Silver Ring save split? Oh, that might have just saved Superds' tournament life here. Yes, okay. Phew. That's still bad, but it's not unsalvageable.
But he is abandoning that check.
Which is the good call to make here. And it was nothing, so no punish. Good reminder, though, that despite how proficient everyone is getting at tricks like Summon Spirit Spike Room, they make it look easy, but it's not easy. It's a very tough trick.
First kill Ring of Vlad off of the Were-Panthers. Gross.
That's how that farm should go, honestly.
See, I don't like Were-Panthers. I hate them. They are one of the most annoying enemies in the catacombs. Only by the attitude that they exude. You do a dive bat into a room, and all of a sudden you have a Were-Panther head flying towards you.
Well, Ren is back again. I think Ren's ahead now because of that Superds death, so let's switch audio.
Yep. Oh, here's Plate Lord, but you don't want to farm this Plate Lord. Wait, am I suffering from seed bleed?
Isn't it Ghost this
Plate Lord
scene?
is a
Yeah.
farm.
Or it's both, right? Ghost and Plate Lord. So you could get both here.
It's both? Oh, God.
Masamune again. Truly, that is the Superds weapon. I mean, how many are there gonna be? Another one. There it is. Nice. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait, where was the heart card?
The heart card was in... I know he save split it away, and I watched him do it. I can't
That's
remember
right, yeah.
where it was.
Entrance save, split good call. Okay, and then I was... That must have been Plate Lord. Okay. See, I guess Superds is going to go for this one. This is
such a bad
slow.
place. Yeah. I wouldn't do the farm here. I'd go to Coliseum.
The thing is, if you can happen to get it early, it'll save time on the trip, but if it's slow, yeah. Cut his losses
There you
here.
go. Yeah. Save yourself some time, buddy.
Okay, there's a Vorpal for Superds. That's interesting.
He now knows that it is possible. Does it affect his decision making?
Cool Grand Cross.
Cross from RenantrL. If you had to use Holy Cross anywhere in the castle with Alucard, I would use it on imps.
Well, honestly, not a bad idea, yeah. Either that room or the room after B's, if you're going up to reverse entrance.
Yes. Interesting that he takes the time to kill the flying zombies here. Flying zombies are one of the weirdest creatures programmatically. They have some of the strangest coding. If you attack a flying zombie on its top half only, it doesn't matter how much damage you do, it will instantly kill the top half. And then the legs will remain with 190 hit points. If you attack both the top half... Oh, Spike Breaker for RenantrL. He can finally go back for that check. If you attack both halves simultaneously, the top half will separate with the remaining hit points of what you just dealt to them, and the legs will remain. Eye of Vlad for Superds. The legs will remain with 190 hit points. If you attack just the legs, the halves will separate, and both will have 190 hit points.
Yeah, what a weird enemy type. For the drops purposes, though, it's all about the top half.
Yes. Don't even bother with the legs. Only kill the top half.
Does the bottom half even have drops, or? I don't think it does, right?
No, no. It is the segment of flying zombie that does not have drops.
So Superds does have a 1 Vlad advantage, but I'm pretty sure Ren's ahead here. We'll have to come back for Ghost, but so long as one of these two remaining Vlads are in Castle 1, that trip's not going to be a big deal.
I do appreciate seeing the Azaghal kill there, though. That means that we know how easy combat is going to be. Of course, I say that, and he gets hit twice.
No, I think your point's well taken. Even if we saw like Guardian or Azaghal on a card, no big deal for Ren. Maybe it's not a big deal for Superds, but with the dual setup, Alucard and Vorpal can be really strong. So I think even Superds is going to be comfortable, no matter what. And... Oof. Don't get baited, Ren. Make sure that confidence count is 0 before you go back.
Honestly, I don't like this seed, and I'm not even playing it. There are times when we as runners we encounter seeds that make us angry by their sheer existence, and this is one of those seeds.
Is there like a bug that gives Ren infinite Chrysogrims and Vorpals? That's another one from a totally different enemy, I think. I mean, what the heck? Everything's out here dropping Chrysogrims.
I made the randomizer pay attention to the IP address of one of the racers, and
how does he do it? So advanced. We're living in the future. The personalized version of the rando. God, such a quick fight. Beast is down.
To quote Jamiroquai, "Future's made of virtual insanity."
Yo, it's been kind of cool that song is becoming relevant again. I remember growing up that song was popular, but now it's got meme value, so it's back. It's a great music video. Hey, where are the cards?
I hid them.
What's even left here?
He just finished Bees. RenantrL did not check Gallimard.
We haven't seen the
Death.
left side stuff past Creature, right?
I don't think we have, yeah. I think they both turned around. So,
We've just done a nice standard route here. You know, just for the record, Medusa left side would have been good here.
I find this route interesting. This is a route that I used to take on a regular basis. Come up here, grab this teleporter, and then reverse library card.
Yeah, I'm surprised I don't see that more often. It's pretty good. I guess there's only 2 farms remaining. It's not necessarily going to be all that relevant. By the way, where's Ren going?
He's going to go through caves to get to...
Doing this the other way, yeah.
Yeah. Which I don't disagree with this entirely. I think that it's suboptimal, but he may not have a choice. He may not have a card. He did not grab the teleporter on left side before he left.
So at most, there's only going to be 1 card here. If you find a ring and a card, you can leave without any concern. If you find just the card, you could also gamble, but it's pretty committal. Ren might be feeling behind enough to where that could happen, so don't be surprised if Ren gets a Vlad card and just goes back and hopes that it's Merman 50-50.
Interesting thing that we discovered recently, it's not actually up to Spirit Orb to cause a soft lock when you hit these Rock Knights. You can kill these Rock Knights with Bat and still soft lock without it.
I'm guessing Spirit Orb contributes though, right?
Spirit Orb, I believe, contributes to how frequently it happens, but I have had it happen to me twice without Spirit Orb.
Wow. Come on, SotN. Do you know if that happens on the Saturn version? It probably doesn't, right?
I do not play enough Saturn version to know. Like,
you don't play the best version?
Saturn version once, fell out of love immediately, and went back.
It's funny. I mean, a lot of the Saturn exclusive stuff is really jank, but the good stuff like Dash Boots are super good. But you know, fair enough. I'm curious. Maybe I'll go do a little test of that to see. I'm curious.
Well, I think it also partially has to do, like, probably nobody's discovered whether or not it works or not because of the fact that with the Saturn version, you don't need to layer your wing smashes like you do in PS1.
You can enable cruise control on Saturn. All right, time again to rate the drip. Well, that's an interesting case.
I don't like it.
I'm gonna
color
say
distribution
it's
is weird.
different. Those colors shouldn't work well, but I'm gonna give it a 5.
That's what I was gonna give it. It's not for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's mid, but it's fun. Hey, what's up, Andrew? Thank you so much for the 35 months. I get up on 3 years here. Crazy. Oh my god, there's nothing in this game.
I'm sorry, the last card was patched out. I'll have to get on that.
I'm starting to think Andrew is right, that maybe it's Silver Ring at Merman, so it's complexity 6, and then one of Death or Galamoth has a card. So we're gonna be seeing Galamoth for sure at this point. Why not just go do it? And what this also means is I don't think Superds has got a chance to catch up now, does he?
No. Well, maybe.
This could be a 2-0.
It would be depressing to me to see Superds lose in a 2-0 like this, but on the other hand, this is an especially brutal seed. One of those situations where neither of the racers technically won, but one did advance.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't love the save split here. I get why, but you're gonna want to get that ring. And if it's a Ring of Death, you're gonna want to go to Galamoth, so what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
I think if it's a card here and Ren skips Galamoth, that might be the one chance for Superds remaining. Yeah, now Superds is... Oh, wait a minute. Superds is back here. Oh, here we go. Is it Gamba time? Is it Gamba time? Tombstone. Oh, it's Gamba time. Yep. So Ren feels behind. I was talking about the logic of this earlier. Is gonna just straight up 50-50 gamble. But I'm confused by Superds routing here, Eld. Am I missing something? Isn't this a guaranteed mistake from Superds' perspective? Like, there has to be a card.
I think he should have stayed in second castle. Fool me once, that kind of deal.
Yeah, I believe Superds has all the info he needs to confirm there is one card remaining. If that's right, we'll have to go back and check, but if that's right, this is just a big routing mistake.
Oh, Superds has the... He doesn't have the silver ring. He has the merman statue, which may be progression. We don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be Silver Ring either at Galamoth or it's going to be a merman.
I would have stayed in second castle, though.
It's tough. So I will say, I think Ren has played this game too slightly better, although it's just a brutal seed to play no matter what. Good use of Wolf here, by the way. Glad he caught that. This would be a deserved win, but I'm kind of hoping for a game 3. I want to see more between these two players.
Like, I'm hoping that Superds is right? Like, I hope that he's right. I hope that this is progression. I hope this takes him somewhere good. I don't see it. Even if Silver Ring is here, Superds, no.
It's bait.
Superds still needs to go to second castle. It's Silver Ring at Galamoth, and then progression at Holy Glass, or the final card at Holy Glasses.
That is just so bad. All right, here's the win condition for Superds. This whole seed has been just miserable. Superds gets the Rib card drop randomly on the way to Castle 2.
Yeah. If he gets Rib randomly, gets to death, finds out what Tooth is, jumps back down, grabs Tombstone, and then makes the win sprint from there, this is a W for Superds, but we don't even know what has Rib, right? Like...
Who can say? Also, where is Ren going? There we go, yeah. Yeah, I'm
So here's the
disappointed.
save
I'm
split.
disappointed Superds didn't keep going, because if Superds had calculated that a card was guaranteed at Death Galamoth, he could have set up a similar save split before committing, like Ren did.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame.
Yeah, because here it is. Like, he's going to go straight to Galamoth because now he knows.
Yeah, I think if Ren had felt more ahead, he would have done this to begin with. Because now he's got to fight Death first. But he's feeling behind. Like, he's assuming he's going to lose this. He doesn't know how ahead he is, but he's assuming he's going to lose this.
He almost left. He's like, oh, I'm done. I'm out. You don't need it. Leave it alone.
It is the tail end of a long, difficult seed. Maybe worried about a Frigor.
Is possible, yeah. Especially when you get tired. The seed bleed is much more real when you're tired. Tombstone is the enemy, Marukesu. Interestingly enough, I was staring at the sprites for these two enemies together for a tier list maker. Frozen Half and Salem Witch actually have extremely similar sprites.
Oh, is it like recycled? Is it that similar?
I think it's actually a recycled sprite. Like, I think that they basically took Salem Witch, made her transparent and blue, and called it Frozen Half.
Interesting. All right, check out this Galamoth. This is the fastest Galamoth in the world. GG.
Galamoth listens to death metal.
Well, he's certainly dead. More like dead metal. All right, let's go ahead and check out Silver Ring, unless we've missed something. No, it's Silver Ring.
Yeah, there was no way it was not Silver Ring.
Okay, Yak in chat is calling Cow final. Any prediction, Eld?
Cow. Minotaur? I don't know what cow is.
Oh, cow is Gorgon. Gorgon's the cow.
Gorgon. Okay. Gorgon. Final. I'll say zombie.
Oh, that's one that both runs would really regret not picking up randomly. I'm gonna go with... I think it's gonna be a bird seed. Blue Raven, Black Crow, one of the two.
Blue Raven? Yeah. I don't know, just something about this seed says that it's cantankerous enough to give us a zombie farm at the very end. I could be wrong. It could be Firewarg. Who knows?
I've talked, about how good everyone's getting at Bounty Hunter, and like sub-hour seeds are typical now. That used to be considered a really good time. I think the longest set of this tournament has been like around 70 minutes. This is going to be a new tournament personal worst.
Yeah.
Give it up for the seed, everybody. Just the worst seed we're gonna see all bracket.
JD 513 in the vanilla game, Firewarg will drop turquoise and lapis lazuli. Or is it karma coin and lapis lazuli? I know it drops Lapis Lazuli in its rare slot. I don't know. A lot of monsters and enemies drop turquoise, and it weirds me out. Also, interestingly enough, did you know that turquoise is the default drop by enemies who should drop things that can only be dropped with a clear file? So if you tried to farm a Ring of Varda from a Paranthropus, and you didn't have a clear file, you would get turquoise instead.
Oh, it's an Owl Knight farm. I'm not sure we've seen this one. This is a cool farm to wrap up the seed with.
I mean,
although
this
once
is
again,
right
it's
next door.
it's kind of out of the way.
It's not even out of the way. There's 2 in Colosseum.
Oh, actually, you know what? Ren's gonna need Ghost anyway, so this is fine. Yeah, I said it was gonna be a bird seed. I guessed the wrong bird. I was close.
Bird adjacent. I love it. Yeah. If you farm Schmooze for a Chrysogram before you have a clear file, if you farm Paranthropus for a Varda before you have a clear file, both of them will drop turquoise instead of what they're normally going to drop. And it won't even put it in the enemy list. The enemy list will remain question marks.
You ever think about how crazy it is that Duplicator is even in the game? Like, I can understand, okay, you have a clear file, and then you can get a really strong ring in your next playthrough that buffs your stats. That makes sense. Duplicator, though, is one of the most insane items in any video game. Like, later Castlevanias have got similar stuff like Chaos Ring and Ari and Dawn for infinite MP, but Duplicator's infinite MP, it's infinite HP, it's infinite Buffalo Stars, infinite Vial stacks.
I think it's
there was so little regard, Eldritch, for balancing in this game. It was the bottom of the priority list. I love it.
I think it's part and parcel to the fact that Symphony of the Night was, you know, the case study for Metroidvania. Am I right? Like, when they threw this thing together, they said, let's just take a whole bunch of cool things and let's put them all into the same game. What's your cool thing idea? Well, I want to make a shield that does infinite damage. All right, let's throw that in. I want to make an item that makes it so that all of these really cool foods and MP refill items and throwables are all infinite. Okay, put it in. You know, I want to make a sword that summons the undead. Okay, let's put that in.
Summon the undead and deal 1 damage a pop because of a coding glitch. Very epic. Very epic. Sword of Dawn is almost so cool. It's almost so cool.
Yeah. The one rule with Symphony of the Night was, does it sound like something awesome to do? Yes? All right, let's go ahead and put that in.
Even the icon for Duplicator is so cool. An infinity sign that's on fire. Oh, it's so good.
And I've said this before in public, so I'm not ashamed to say it now. I think that hard mode mods or mods that try to increase the difficulty of SotN miss the point of SotN. Perfect. Oh, almost perfect misbatch.
No. If it wasn't over before, it's over now. The classic muscle memory issue. Okay, you cannot mess this up a single time.
Here we go. Infinite muscle memory. Oh, not enough.
I mean, it was done regardless, but that's a shame. Anyway, please go ahead. I was gonna agree with you completely. I want to hear this rant.
So, whenever you see these people who try to rebalance SotN by trying to adjust the enemy stats, make them hit harder, make them have more hit points, to make them to make the bosses faster, slower, so that they don't die as quickly or easily, I think you kind of missed the point of Symphony of the Night. Symphony of the Night is not a combat-focused game. Like, yes, we make presets that focus on, quote-unquote, focus on combat by making you farm the enemies, but farming the enemies is not supposed to be a slog like it is in this seed. Farming the enemies is supposed to be a fun interaction in this game, and when you have a game that starts out with the premise of let's put all the cool things in one place, and then you try to take all the cool things away because you want the game to be harder, I think you've missed the point.
I would like to make what is hopefully a friendly addition to that rank, because I agree with 90% of it, but I do think while combat in this game is not quote-unquote supposed to be difficult, optimizing combat can be difficult and really interesting, right? So in randomizer play often, it's not so much about winning, it's about winning quickly. Now this seed's different. This has been a hard seed where surviving's been an accomplishment, but for the most part, even if dying is not really a concern, you gotta play really well to optimize combat, so that's great. And I couldn't agree more. There is not a single good hard mode Alucard hack. There's some good Richter stuff, but for Alucard, it's like a joke. Like some of the worst hacks I've ever played have been SotN hard type.
Yeah.
People just really think Kaizo SotN should be zero fun, all frustration. Totally missed the point.
I also, like, to your point, I think that Boss Rush demonstrates and can help players become better at optimizing combat. I watched your Boss Rush runs. I watched a lot of Boss Rush runs that Dragon Blitz did. There's the rib. All we need is the tooth from the tombstone, and RenantrL will be ready to go. But I've watched how top-end runners fight bosses, the people who actually practice the boss fights. And I've watched how a lot of other casual style runners play bosses, like kind of like how I do. And the difference in how much time top-end runners save on boss fights just by having a better combat strategy going in, I think that that's ultimately where that is ultimately a difference maker on the large.
Mm-hmm.
So the moral of the story is everybody should play Boss Rush right now. Long Library Discord.
I think honestly, Boss Rush is the ultimate, at least at the moment, hard type hack for Symphony of the Night. Because what it does, it makes the game harder, but it still rewards you for using a lot of the really cool mechanics that Alucard has access to in a way that feels balanced. So like, you know, it's a combination of short range combat, long range combat, you got your spells going, you got MP management, HP management, it's really good. A lot of hard type hacks for this game make the mistake of turning spells useless, which, I mean, what's the point? That's just boring.
Well, it's because they watch the speedruns. They watch the speedruns, they see how Tetris Spirit annihilates some bosses, they see how powerful Soul Steel can be for restoring hit points, and they're like, well, I don't want them to have access to any of that.
Hopefully things will get better with them. I think we'll get more hacks of this game in the future and hopefully they get better. I don't want to, you know, be too critical, but there are some bad SotN hacks out there. See, it seems like most people are in agreement on this, which is good to see.
One of the things that one of the best presets that's been created recently, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to play at Jupiter, but if you've had an opportunity to play the Beyond preset that Weecock and Forat Negre came up with, it is an amazing preset.
I have not. Tell me more.
They basically kind of took items and turned them on their side. What they did is they added new items over items that nobody was using. Like, nobody was using Elven Cloak. So they added a really cool cloak called Shadow Cloak that makes it so that you don't take damage from physical attacks. And mind you, that's a bit overpowered when you consider all the things, but it's kind of on par with what SotN is about. It's about cool things. It's not about making the game balanced.
It's not about con plus 3 or whatever. What are the stats for Elven Cloak, I wonder? It's not that great. That sort of thing I'd be cool with. There, by the way, is the 5th Vlad for Ren. I'd be cool with that. I mean, yeah, it fits the spirit of SotN where, yeah, sure, it makes the game easier. Okay, that's fine. It's true to say that. But it's cool. And there is still a lot of room for skill expression. And I think that's the main issue I have with a lot of these hard type hacks. There's one way to play. You gotta like cheese the boss or play really safe or abuse what little iframes you have access to. And that's the only way you can play to win. Whereas the SotN approach is a lot of cool stuff, a lot of mechanics, a lot of different ways to play. So it's about finding the answer that's fastest. Sorry, go ahead. I was ranting. Go ahead.
Oh, RenantrL just did this really sick dodge underneath Malachi, who should be named Cthulhu, where Malachi was about to land on him. He transformed into and out of bat at just the right time to dodge the hit.
I'll have to go back and check out that clip.
It was gorgeous. Mwah. Bellissimo. But yes, please continue your rant.
No, that's it. Basically, just play Boss Rush. I'm gonna echo the Eldritch sentiment on this one.
And play Beyond, because Beyond, the other item that they added in Beyond that I absolutely love. Like they changed a lot of weapons. Like the Firebrand is now Levitain. Those kinds of things where, you know, they said, oh yeah, look at this really cool item from a later Castlevania. Let's put it in SotN. They put mannequins in so that you can teleport using mannequins, which makes the game absolutely hilarious and busted. They added a respawner, which respawns items on the ground as long as you're wearing it. It's just an amazing preset, and I think that it defines what made SotN good with a modern twist.
Comment from the chat here: SotN's design sensibilities are more like Kirby. Yes, it's a great comparison. Casually, Kirby Superstar is the easiest video game ever made. You can press a shoulder button and you're invincible, okay? Just straight up, okay? But the speedrun is one of the most technical speedruns of all time. So once again, if you're trying to optimize your win, it's so complicated.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is RIP Superds as far as the tournament is concerned. RenantrL and Team Brazil are advancing to, you know, not dead. But yeah, like it is. There it is. It is what it is.
Alrighty, I am joined now by Superds and by Ren. Congrats to you both on a really entertaining set.
GG's.
So I'm not sure who to start with. This is a question for both, I guess. How miserable was that game 2 seed to play?
If you Superds can talk first, I appreciate because I'm mad about what seed.
Yeah, I went to the second castle and I think, okay, then let's see the chivalry cast something. So I go back when I got the mist, I guess, and sadly I died.
Yeah.
After that, I go to the farm, I guess it's the ring and the heart, and go back to the second castle.
Now, Ren, there was a moment. You fought creature. You actually had the right route. You did the bold decision to go castle 2. Sorry, go ahead.
1 HP on reverse library.
That was insane. I was so worried about that wing smash dropping, and then it happened, and just barely survived it. But yeah, you had the right call. It was a great call. Then creature had missed, and you decided to go back. How worried were you that was bait in the moment?
50%. Yes or no? The problem is I almost died, so let's go back to first castle with this mist. I have 2 more checks, 2 more chances to found something. When I found nothing, I said, okay, this seed is merman to rings or rings to merman. Jesus Christ. And in second castle, maybe. Okay, Let's clean up everything first and found the cards.
Yeah. That
So
seed
the
was
problem
painful.
is Merman is bait too, you know? Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Sorry about the word, but this seed is garbage. No? Jesus Christ. That's fine.
It was 78 minutes, which I think is the single longest seed we've had so far in bracket. Game 1 was better though. Game 1 was really close. It ultimately came down to left side versus right side routing, and Ren, you had the right call there. Superds, how happy were you with your play? I think you played great overall. How did you feel about your performance today?
I think that I have good movement, but I don't know. I make some wrong decisions. Merman was bait. Silvering was bait. So I went to Galamot and died. So that was a big problem for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I did a good movement there. But that was not enough.
No, for sure, your movement is better than mine, for sure.
So with that,
Especially
Eldridge, any questions for our runners before I move on here?
None from me, no.
Let me just take a quick peek at the brackets. So, first of all, Superds, thank you very much for joining the tournament. It was a lot of fun to commentate your matches. Ren, you're going to be up against, it's going to be you versus Mr. Razio in the next round. How are you feeling about that matchup?
Too bad MP management. This is going to be awesome. But
We did have a question
Raz is
from
awesome.
chat.
Yeah, please go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's two good players, you know, bad MP management by both. But yeah, but you know, good complexity of things, good routing, good awesome lucks, because me and Raz, I think, is the two who most got random lads on the qualifying tournament, so it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So,
We
El,
did
what
have
was
a
the
question
question
from,
from chat? Yeah.
Swarm is asking, can we address refilling the health before Creature by RenantrL? Apparently he was dissatisfied with the fact that you did not face Creature at 1 HP.
Of course not. You know, I'm bad at the game. If I face Creature with 1 HP, he rolls and kills me.
Well, GG's to both of the contestants.
Thank you.
GG, thank you.
And of course, thank you to everyone watching, and thank you to Eldritch for the excellent, really enjoyable co-commentary. Really appreciate it. Where can people follow you if they want to hear more?
If you want to find me, you can find me at my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Eldritch with a 7 instead of the T. If you want to try to get into the randomizer and race me yourself so that you can eventually beat me every time, you can find out how to do that at symphonyrando.fun.
That is a great resource for players of all skill levels. Also a reminder, go ahead and follow Superds and Ren as well if you want to catch more top-level SotN gameplay.